ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Good evening, Hare Krishna, everybody. Welcome to this evening's special session. In the first canto, 13th chapter, there is a very beautiful verse which is spoken by Yudhishthir Maharaj in glorification of Vidurji. Before the battle of Kurukshetra, Duryodhana, he insulted Vidurji, and Vidurji did not react, and he simply left the palace. And after the battle was over, Vidurji visited Hastinapur again, not to enjoy the royal kingdom, but simply to show his compassion on Dhritarashtra, who was being maintained by Yudhishthir Maharaj. And it was not appropriate for Dhritarashtra to stay with Yudhishthir. So Vidur Maharaj visited Hastinapur again, and that time he was welcomed by everybody in Hastinapur. And Yudhishthir Maharaj, in his glorification, he recited one very beautiful verse which talks about the potency of the devotees. Yudhishthir Maharaj says, Bhavad Vidha Bhagavataha Tirtha Bhutaha Svayam Vibho Tirthi Kurvanti Tirthani Swantasthena Gadabhrata. So, in this verse, Yudhishthir Maharaj mentions three qualities of a devotee. Yudhishthir Maharaj says that Bhavad Vidha Bhagavata. Bhavad means you. That means Vidur Maharaj. Vidha means like. Bhagavata means devotees. He says the devotees like you have got the three qualities. And what are those three qualities? The first, Tirtha Bhuta Swayam Vibho. That means you yourself are holy places personified. The second quality is that Tirthi Kurvanti Tirthani, that you can convert any place into a holy place. And the third thing about the devotees, like pure devotees like Vidura, that they always carry Krishna in their heart. So this verse is a very powerful verse, because this verse tells us that the pure devotees are more powerful than any tirtha. And we should remember one thing, that when I mention devotee, there are two kinds of devotee. One is a person devotee, like Hanumanji is a devotee, Vidur Maharaj is a devotee, Arjuna is a devotee. That way we have got so many examples of the devotees. And at the same time, we have a book devotee, which is Srimad Bhagavatam. So the first thing, Tirtha Bhuta Swayam Vibho. So Tirtha means, we know what is the meaning of Tirtha. In case of Tirtha, the place is glorified mainly due to the presence of a sacred body of water. For example, we call Prayagraj as a Tirtha. We call Hardwar as a Tirtha. Rameshwar Dham as a Tirtha. Right? And there is a Dham also. The Dham is glorified mainly because of Lord's pastimes. For example, Vrindavana is called a Dham because Lord Krishna showed his pastimes over there. Ayodhya is called a Dham because Lord Rama was born there. Right? So when we talk about the Tirtha, we should know that in case of a Tirtha, the presence of a sacred water body is important. And the Tirtha means any place where a sacred water body, for example, Gangaji, Yamunaji, Narmada, Godavari, these sacred rivers are there. So Yudhishthira Maharaj says, Tirtha Bhutaha Swayam Vibho. He says Tirtha means, I explained you what is the meaning of Tirtha. Bhuta means converted into. Swayam means yourself. Vibho, oh great person. Vibho stands for Vidur Maharaj. So Yudhishthira glorifies Vidurji by saying that you are a personified Tirtha. Now, what is the meaning of a personified Tirtha? Now, take the example of a Ganges. Right? Now, Ganges is a Tirtha. Now, anybody who steps in the Ganges, he or she will see everywhere there is a water. Front, right, left, back, everywhere there is a water. And take the water from anywhere in the Ganges, that water will purify you. So, similarly, a pure devotee of Krishna, of Lord Rama, they are the personified Tirtha, which means each and everything related to them purifies us. If a pure devotee looks at us, we get purified. If a pure devotee speaks to us, we are purified. If a pure devotee hears us, we are purified. If we get the remnants of a pure devotee like Prasad, we get purified. If we get the clothes which are used by a devotee, then we get the purified. If we happen to get the dust of the lotus feet of a pure devotee, we get purified. So this is how we should understand what Yudhishthira Maharaj is trying to speak about Vidur Maharaj. That the devotees like Vidur Maharaj, they themselves are a Tirtha. They are personified Tirtha. When we go to any Tirtha, water bodies are sacred, but the true sanctity of a holy place comes from the pure devotees who visit those places. And the devotees are so powerful that they not only they themselves are personified Tirtha, but they have the power to purify even the Ganges also. We have a very nice episode in the Srimad Bhagavatam 9th canto, 9th chapter, and there are about 10 verses. And when you have the time, you should read those verses. So in that episode, in very brief, Bhagirath Maharaj, he wanted to bring the Ganges water down to the earth, this material world, to liberate his ancestors. He performed severe austerities. Mother Ganges was very happy. She was pleased when she saw that Bhagirath Maharaj performed so severe austerities. So she appears before Bhagirath Maharaj and asks Bhagirath Maharaj, okay, now you ask me any boon. So Bhagirath Maharaj said, Mata, you already know what is my desire. I simply want that my forefathers should be liberated. And for that, you need to come down to the earth. So Mother Ganges said, I am pleased with you. I am happy to come down to the earth. But there are two problems. And what are those two problems? Mother Ganges said, first of all, my fall, since I will be falling from the sky, then my flow will be very forceful. So who is going to sustain that flow? And if my flow cannot be sustained, then I will pierce the earth and go down to Patal Loka, which I don't want. And second thing she said, that I do not want to come down to the earth, because if I come down to the earth, there are journal people who will bathe to cleanse their sinful reactions. And those sinful reactions will keep accumulating in my body. So how will I get rid of those sins? So on that, Bhagiraji mentions a very nice verse, which is given in 9.9.6. And Bhagirath Maharaj says that, Mata, you should not worry about it. And Bhagiraji says that when saintly people will take a dip in your water, then you will be free from all the accumulated sins. And Bhagiraji mentions a few qualities of the devotees, which the devotees who should take the dip in the Ganges to purify the Ganges itself. For example, Bhagiraji says the devotee should be very peaceful. The devotee should be following the rules and regulations of the scriptures. And the more importantly, Bhagiraji says the devotee should have one quality, which is Lok Pavana. And Prabhupada translates, Prabhupada says, such devotees are engaged in delivering the world from their hellish condition, from their fallen condition. And we have so many such examples. And one of the examples in the recent world is Srila Prabhupada, who has so much compassion for everyone that he dedicated his whole life in delivering the people like us. So from this episode, from the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is very much clear we can understand that the devotees are so powerful that not only they themselves are personified Tirtha, but they have the power to purify even the Ganges water also. We can take one example of water filter to understand it better. We have the water filter in the house. So what is the role of the water filter? The water filter will filter the impurities from the water and we get the clean water. But after some time, the water filter itself has to be cleaned. So similarly, this same thing happens with the Ganges in our case. The Ganges is like a water filter. We go and take a dip in the Ganges water and leave our sinful reactions of sinful actions in the Ganges water. And now those keep getting accumulated, and that's why even the Ganges water that need to be purified. And that's the reason that before a general public is allowed to take a bath in the Ganges, in any holy place, before that, all the great saints and sages, they will go and take a dip in the holy water. Now, when the saints and sages, they go and take a dip in the holy water, it's not to purify themselves, Anna, because they have already purified themselves from the reactions of sinful actions. So they do not have to take the dip in the holy water. But first, it's their humility. They believe that still they are sinful. And the second reason is that Mother Ganges wants them to take a dip in the water so that she gets purified. So this is the first thing Yudhishthir Maharaj mentions in glorification of Vidur Maharaj, that you yourself are Tirtha personified. And the second, Tirthi Kurvanti Tirthani, which means you have the power to convert any place into a holy place. You have the power to convert any place into a Tirtha. And why? Because they themselves are Tirtha personified, which I explained you just now. The devotees, pure devotees of the Lord, it's like the mobile phone, or you can say mobile Ganges. Right? At the moment in Abu Dhabi, there is no Ganges water. Right? Oh, Ganges water is there, but the Ganges is not flowing. The river is not flowing. But imagine the Ganges water starts flowing in Abu Dhabi. What will happen? Even Abu Dhabi would become a Tirtha. But the problem is that the Ganges, the mother Ganges, cannot come to Abu Dhabi. Right? It cannot start flowing in Abu Dhabi the way it flows in India. Yamuna Ji, Saraswati will not come to Abu Dhabi unless Lord desires it, right? But the devotees, they are mobile Tirtha. Wherever they go, they will convert that place into a Tirtha. Wherever the sun travels, there is no darkness. Wherever the sun goes, immediately the fog and darkness will disappear. So similarly, wherever the devotees go, any kind of darkness will disappear from that place. Whosoever the devotees touch, the darkness from their lives will start disappearing. And when I say darkness, the darkness means it's all about inauspicious things which trouble us. Those things will start disappearing from our life. And one of the important things the devotees they bring in our life is enthusiasm, utsaha. In Nectar of Instruction, Rupa Goswami mentions 6 things which help us to progress in our spiritual life. Utsaha, Nishya, Dhairyat, Tat Karma Pravartanat. So in of those 6 things, the very first thing is the utsahan, enthusiasm. And it's the devotees who bring enthusiasm in our spiritual life. In the Bhagavatam, the first canto, in the episode where Vidurji returns to Hastinapur, as soon as when the people in the palace, they got to know that Vidurji has come to the palace, Bhagavatam says, everybody felt as if they have regained their lost lives. Because they were in a very sad condition. Millions and millions of people have lost their lives in the Kurukshetra battle. And Yudhishthir Maharaj was still feeling guilty of those people being killed. Bhishma Pitamadev also disappeared from this world. But as soon as they got to know Vidurji has visited their place, everybody was very much happy. And Bhagavatam says everybody felt as if they got their life back. And imagine we have to visit Prayagraj and we get to know there are no saints and sages in the Prayagraj. There is nobody in the Prayagraj except we. Now just think about it. will there be same kind of enthusiasm what we have now? No, we won't have the enthusiasm to visit Prayagraj. If we get to know that we are going to be just one of the very, very few people in Prayagraj, there are no saints and sages. Right? So this simple point shows us that the devotee's presence brings enthusiasm in our life. And the third beautiful thing Yudhishthir Maharaj mentions in glorification of Vidur Maharaj, that Swantastena Gadabhrata. Now one may wonder, how is it that a devotee himself is a Tirtha personified? How can a devotee convert any place into a place of pilgrimage? So the answer is given in the third line. It says Swantastena Gadabhrata. Swantaha means heart, Stena means situated. Gadabhrata is Lord Krishna's another name, which means the pure devotees always carry Lord Krishna in their heart. See, the Ganges carry water which emanates from Krishna's lotus feet. But the devotees, they carry Krishna themselves in their heart. And that's why they have got tremendous potency. Many times we hear the God is everywhere, right? But we cannot see the God at our own. We can see the God only through a devotee. Now, electricity is everywhere. Throughout the Abu Dhabi, there are so many places where the electricity is flowing in. But how do we get the electricity? We get the electricity only through the bulb, right? If the bulb is not there, so electricity is there, but we won't be able to get any light. So similarly, Lord is like electricity and devotees are like a bulb. And we are like a general mass of people. If we want to see Lord, we cannot see the Lord through our own efforts. We should see the Lord through the bulb, which means the devotees. So the devotees, they carry Krishna in their heart, which is like an electricity. So wherever they go, they will electrify the place. And you can think of a person who has got electric shock. So he is electrified. Now, if I touch that person, what would happen? Even I would also get electrified. So similarly, the devotees, since they carry Krishna in their heart, which is like an electricity, that's why wherever they go, they electrify all such places, and makes that place full of Krishna's presence, full of Krishna's energy. When we touch a Bhagavatam, right? If we sincerely touch Bhagavatam, then what happens? We also get electrified. The way Bhagavatam is the topmost pure devotee, we also start getting the glimpse of that devotion. Srila Prabhupada, when he went to States, right, he converted so many places into holy places. It's like electricity current. Wherever he went, he spread Krishna consciousness. And not only Srila Prabhupada, prior to that, we have got so many great devotees, like Ramanandachar is there, Madhvachar is there. All these great devotees, wherever they visited, wherever they went, they carried the electricity, they carried the current of Krishna, and they electrified all those presents with the Krishna's glories. So, in this verse, we have seen that what is the potency of the devotee. The devotees, they themselves are personified holy places. And the second thing, the devotees have the power to convert any place into a holy place. And the third thing, the devotees, they always carry the Lord in their heart. Just to talk about few things about the similarities between a Tirtha and a devotee, and the differences between a Tirtha and a pure devotee. So when we talk about the similarities between a Tirtha and a pure devotee, I could think of the three similarities. The first similarity is that both the Ganges water as well as the Srimad Bhagavatam, they emanate from Lord Krishna. The Ganges emanates from Lord Krishna's lotus feet, whereas Srimad Bhagavatam emanates from Lord Krishna's lotus mouth. The second similarity, both Ganges water as well as the devotees have the potency to purify anything, any person, externally as well as internally also. And the third similarity is that both are unlimited. The way the Ganges water, the way the water in the Ganges is unlimited. So similarly, the Lord's glories, the Srimad Bhagavatam, that is also unlimited. Now, if you look at the differences between Tirtha and the pure devotee, the first thing is a Tirtha is not mobile. Right? As I mentioned earlier, whatever we do, unless Krishna wishes, those Tirthas, Dham, cannot be manifested where they are not at the present. But the devotees, they are mobile. Right? They can move from one place to another place. The second thing, for taking a dip in the Ganges water, there are rules and regulations. Right? Like we should not apply the soap, we should not contaminate the Ganges water, we should not take the dip after a certain point of time. There are so many rules and regulations. But for reading Srimad Bhagavatam, associating with the devotees, there are no rules and regulations. The third difference is that it's given in the Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, first chapter, 15th verse. It is said that the association with the devotees or association with the Srimad Bhagavatam will give us immediate spiritual benefit. Whereas to get the benefit from the Ganges water, we have to associate for a long time. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that the devotees will purify us immediately, whereas Ganges water purifies us after a prolonged use. Then the fourth thing is that, and it's an important thing, that suppose a person is taking a dip in the Ganges water. So that person is getting purified. He gets rid of the reactions of his sinful actions. So he will get purified, but I will not get purified. But in the Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, it is given that wherever Srimad Bhagavatam Katha is there, that Katha purifies the speaker, Katha purifies the hearers, and the Katha purifies the people who ask the questions. So the three categories of people get purified simultaneously. And there can be unlimited number of people in the Katha. All will have the same benefit, same purification. And the fifth thing, the devotees can purify even the holy places like Ganges. But the Ganges can purify only the sinful persons. Because the persons who are without sins, who have already purified themselves from sinful reactions, the pure devotees, there is nothing to be purified in them. And the sixth thing, if we associate with the Srimad Bhagavatam, if we associate with the devotees, we will become a devotee. Right? If not a pure devotee, at least we will become a struggling devotee. Right? We will have some qualities of a devotee. Whereas simply taking a dip in the Ganges water doesn't make us a devotee. And as I mentioned earlier, one may become a devotee, but after a prolonged use. Prolonged, there is no definition of prolonged. It may be 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 1 year, 2 years, 1 janma, 2 janma, 3 janma. We do not know. The consciousness doesn't change immediately. Right? And the last thing, that we can take unlimited association of Srimad Bhagavatam. We can take unlimited association of the pure devotees' instructions. But there is a limit beyond which we cannot associate with the Ganges water. We have been sitting in this session, in this Katha, for an hour now. But can we imagine being in Ganges water for an hour? No, it's not possible. Right? So this is another potency or the benefit of associating with Srimad Bhagavatam. So in conclusion, I would like to mention one thing, that we can turn any place into a holy place. We can turn any place into a tirtha. We can do three things. Any place can be a tirtha if there are three things. we must have Srimad Bhagavatam. And Srimad Bhagavatam is the topmost pure devotee. And it's like having a doctor with us. Now, second, we should take lessons from the Srimad Bhagavatam. It's like taking the advice from the doctor. And the third, we should apply the instructions of Srimad Bhagavatam in our life. If we can do these three things, right, then our house itself will become a tirtha, right? Because it has the presence of a devotee, and we are taking the instructions from the devotee, and we are trying to apply those instructions in our practical life. So we should not underestimate the potency of Srimad Bhagavatam, serving Bhagavatam every day. It has the immense potency to purify us. But having said, we should remember one thing, that if there is an opportunity for anyone to take a dip in the Ganges water, visit a holy place, we should take up this opportunity. But we must remember that we should never give up Srimad Bhagavatam. We should always endeavor to keep taking more and more lessons from the Srimad Bhagavatam. And more importantly, or the most important thing, that we should keep trying to apply those instructions into our life until our last breath. So with these words, I would like to conclude today's session. Okay. Thanks to all the devotees. Hare Krishna.